Before we get stuck into tips and tactics, it's really important that we actually understand how our customers perceive Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Last year, we released research that showed there was a high level of skepticism around the event. Consumers felt that brands would push poor quality products, or they might ignore their existing customers in favor of new ones. But this year, the landscape actually looks a little bit different. Whether it's because we all gave them great experiences last year or another reason, trust and excitement levels are a great deal higher as we approach the 2022 sales season. So having surveyed 4,000 consumers, we can tell you that this year, 62% are actually really looking forward to the Black Friday sales. 68% are waiting for the sales period to come around so that they can purchase specific items, as we've just discussed. And perhaps unsurprisingly, 67% are more interested in Black Friday Cyber Monday as a direct result of the cost of living crisis that we're currently navigating. Speaking of the cost of living crisis, unfortunately, it is having an impact on e-commerce growth. Consumers are tightening their belts and bracing themselves for what the media are predicting will be a long, hard winter. However, when it comes to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that inflation is actually bringing something of an opportunity. Our research has shown that those who have been impacted the most by the cost of living crisis are actually by far the most likely to engage with you this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So as you can see on screen here, those who have been extremely impacted are significantly more likely to see the BFCM sales as a real opportunity. But most interestingly to me, they're also most likely to prioritize shopping with brands that they already know and trust. And this makes sense. It will take more for those who are significantly impacted and struggling the most to commit to a purchase. When they do part with their money, they want to trust in the product and the service that will be delivered. But this means there's great opportunity, an opportunity to actually engage with your existing customers and deliver them a really good Black Friday experience that keeps them coming back and building lifetime value far into the future. So now we know that this opportunity exists, what can we do to build long-lasting relationships with those shoppers? The first step really is to give your customers the best possible Black Friday experience that they want to relive all year round. And our data has shown that there are 5 key things that you need to keep in mind when you're designing that experience. Those 5 things are timing, communication, alternative incentives, shipping and returns policies, and post-purchase comms. As you'll already know, if you've read the full blueprint, there's a lot to say on each of these things and each of these areas, but I'm going to keep this to a whistle-stop tour so that we've got time to hear from all of our other speakers as well. So the first pillar, timing. How long do your customers actually want the sales to be? And the answer is not as long as you might think. 22% of people would actually prefer that sales lasted for just the weekend, while 41% want the sale to span 1 to 6 days before or after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So if you're planning a 2-month extravaganza that starts during Halloween and rolls into Christmas, you might need to think again. And this is really good news for us, both for the customers who don't want to be bombarded with sales messages, but also for stores like you who don't want to keep impacting their profit margins with discounts indefinitely. I think the days of it being a one-day sale where people are literally wrestling the last items off the shelf are gone, but it doesn't mean it has to be a really long drawn-out affair. Next up, communication. Your customers do want to hear about your sales, predominantly via the usual email and SMS channels, but almost half actually want to hear about them via social media as well. But what's really interesting to me here is only a quarter want to hear about them via paid ads on channels like Instagram or Facebook. So if paid acquisition is a big part of your strategy, then you might want to rethink whether that budget might be better deployed across a higher intent channel, something like Google Shopping, where you know that you're displaying ads to somebody who's looking for the thing that you're selling. You could also consider shifting some of that spend to post-sale ads with broader messaging that can connect with customers longer term once the discounts are done and they're less blind to that branding. A little bonus tip for you on communication around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It turns out it's still all about personalization. 69% of your customers say they're more likely to buy if they receive personalized BFCM promotions or offers. So use every bit of data that you have to make your messages more personal this Black Friday. I know a lot of our stores will be using loyalty data, things like available rewards or points balances to drive that personalization. Now, let's move on to the hottest topic, discounts, or actually in this case, perhaps not discounts. Customers expect lower prices during Black Friday, and we definitely want to make the most of the opportunity to secure an influx of those customers. But with sales prices come heavily eroded profit margins. I won't pretend that discounts aren't important or that they don't work, but as you can see here, 76% of consumers say they would be motivated to make a Black Friday purchase if they received a discount. What's important though is what else would motivate them. It's not necessarily all about price. 76%, exactly the same number, would be motivated to buy if they received early access to the sales. 77%, even higher, would be motivated to buy if they received free gifts, perhaps sample sizes of products. And 68% would be motivated to buy if they could access loyalty point promotions, things like double points during the Black Friday period. So think about the other incentives you could be using to drive sales that might drive better relationships and less damage to your bottom line as well. Next, shipping and returns. We know that people will shop around for shipping and returns policies they like. However, they might be more flexible than you think. So if we start with shipping, there's no question that people love free shipping. In fact, 82% of those surveyed said free or discounted shipping would make them more likely to purchase. However, while 75% of shoppers say next day delivery would have a positive impact on their likelihood to make a purchase, 76% say the same thing about delivery within a week's time frame. So rather than trying to offer free next day delivery to everyone, why not use a tiered approach? Give your most valuable customers the top experience, but then scale it back according to lifetime value. So the next tier down might get free delivery, but within a week. And new customers could perhaps access discounted shipping, but have to pay according to the time frame. Moving on to returns, one of the hottest topics in the media at the moment. What shoppers really want here, it actually is clarity. So 70% say that clear instructions would positively impact the likelihood of them making a purchase. So what will drive a great customer experience isn't necessarily free returns. It's just a promise that will make it really easy and obvious what somebody needs to do if they don't like the product. And these are two extremely important factors when it comes to securing a next purchase, as I'm sure you're more than aware. Finally, our fifth and final BFCM blueprint pillar, post-purchase comms. These are absolutely key because they'll play a huge part in bridging the gap between the Black Friday sale or purchase and a longer-term relationship. The good news is that customers are very open to hearing from you after BFCM. The key thing, though, is getting the timing right, and faster is generally better. To drive maximum impact from your post-purchase comms, we recommend sending follow-up comms 1 to 3 days after the sale, whether that's reminding them to come back and create an account, let them know they've earned additional points they can come back and spend, or something less transactional like introducing them to your Facebook community. They're ready and they're waiting to hear from you. But given the short time frame that they want to hear from you in, it's well worth making sure that these post-purchase comms are drafted and ready for automation well in advance of the sale. So with any luck, we've given you some tidbits from our data that will help you to drive the best possible BFCM experience for your shoppers. But you might be wondering what any of this has to do with loyalty and retention. It's really simple. The better the BFCM experience, the more likely customers are to come back and shop with you the rest of the year. The influx of purchases you get over the sales season could be the start of a whole number of beautiful and very profitable relationships. And it's not as one-sided as it may sound. The people who enjoy your BFCM experience are highly likely to come back and engage in loyal behaviors with you at a later date. So we've found that 66% would join a loyalty program if they had a good experience. 78% will refer a friend or family member, and 62% will leave you a review. But again, as you can see here, the timing is everything. People are most likely to undertake these actions if you reach them on the day of purchase or within 1 to 3 days after they buy. After that, the likelihood of them engaging drops significantly. So in summary, this year BFCM presents an incredible opportunity to drive longer-term retention and longer-term loyalty. Things like the cost of living crisis have left consumers quite excited about the sales, but also wary of making sure that they make the right decisions. So our advice to you is to plan ahead, automate your comms and your loyalty emails, and get your timing right so that you can focus on retaining and growing the new customers that you acquire as soon as you acquire them. Ultimately, it's the experience that you deliver this Black Friday, Cyber Monday that will make shoppers come back or not. So there we have it, a very quick breakdown of the BFCM blueprint and what consumers want from their seasonal shopping experiences. But how do you actually use your tech stack to implement some of these learnings? Luckily, that's exactly what our experts are here to tell us. So we are going to go straight to OmniSend. Greg, if I can ask you to share your screen, and away you go. Don't forget to drop your questions into the Q&A for Greg.